Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to my reading show. Hope you're all fine, and let's just continue with the new story. The story is the last leaf. All right. In a little district west of Washington Square, the streets have run crazy and broken themselves into small strips called places. These places make strange angles and curves. One street crosses itself in a time or two. An artist once discovered a valuable possibility in this street. Suppose a collector with a bill for paints, paper, and canvas should, in traversing traversing the road, suddenly meet himself coming back without a cent having been paid one account. So, to quaint old Greenwich Village, the art people soon came prowling, hunting for North windows and 18th century gables and Dutch attics and low rents. Then they imported some pewter mugs and chafing dish or two from Sixth Avenue and became a colony. At the top of a squatty, at the top of a squatty, three-story brick Sue and Johnsy had their studio. Johnsy was familiar with Joanna. One was from Maine, the other from California. They had met at the table, the hotel of 8th Street, 8th, Agave Street, Delmonico's, and found their tastes in art, chicory, salad, and bishop sleeves so congenial that the joint studio resulted. That was in May. In the Weber, as a cold, unseen stranger, whom the doctors call pneumonia, pneumonia, stalked about the colony, touching one here and there with his icy finger, touching one here and there with his icy finger. Over on the east side, this ravager strode boldly, smiting his victims by scores, but his feet trod slowly through the maze of the narrow and moss-grown places. Mr. Pneumonia was not what you would call a chivalric old gentleman. A chivalric old gentleman. A mate of a little woman with blood thinned by Californian zephyrs was hardly fair game for the real fisted, short-breathed old duffer. But Johnsy he smote. And she lay scarcely moving on her painted iron bedstead, looking through the small Dutch window panes at the blank side of the next brick house. One morning, the busy doctor invited Sue into the hallway with a shaggy gray eyebrow. She has one chance in, let us say, 10. She has one chance in, let's say, 10, he said, as he shook down the mercury in his clinical thermometer. And that chance is for her to want to live. This way people have of lining up on the side of the Undertaker makes the entire pharmacopedia look silly. Makes the entire pharmacopedia look silly. Your little lady has made up her mind and that she's not going to get well. Has she anything on her mind? She wanted to paint the Bay of Naples someday, said Sue. Paint? Bosh. Has she anything on her mind worth thinking about twice? A man, for instance? A man? Said Sue, with a Jeff's harp twang in her voice. Is a man worth? But no, doctor, there is nothing of the kind. Well, it is the weakness, then, said the doctor. I will do all that science, so far as it may filter through my efforts, can accomplish. But whenever my parent begins to count the carriages in her funeral procession, I subtract 50% from the curative power of medicines. If you will get her to ask one question about the new winter styles in cloak sleeves, I will promise you a 1 in 5 chance for her instead of 1 in 10. After the doctor had gone, she went into the workroom and cried in Japanese napkin to a pulp. Then she swaggered into Jones's room with her drawing board, whistling ragtime. Jones lay, scarcely making a ripple under the bedclothes, with her face towards the window. Sue stopped whistling, thinking she was asleep. She arranged her board and began a pen and ink drawing to illustrate a magazine story. Young artists must pave their way to art by drawing pictures for magazine stories that young authors write to pave their way to literature. As you was sketching a pair of elegant horse show riding trousers and monocle on the figure of the hare, an Idaho cowboy, she heard a low sound, several times repeated. She went quickly to the bedside. Jones's eyes were open wide. She was looking out the window and counting backward. 12, she said, and a little later 11, and then 10, and then 9, and then 8, and 7, almost together. Sue looked solicitously out the window. What was there to count? There was only a bare, dreary yard to be seen, and the blank side of the brick house 20 feet away. An old ivy vine gnarled and decayed at the roots. Climbed halfway up the brick wall. Uh, the cold breath of autumn had stricken its leaves from the vine until its skeleton branches clung. Among almost bare to the climbing bricks, crumbling bricks, crumbling. What is it, dear? Asked Sue. 6, said Jonesy in almost a whisper. They are falling faster now. 3 days ago they were almost 100. It made my headache to count them, but now it's easy. There goes another one. There are only 5 left now. 5 what, dear? Tell yours, sooty leaves on the ivy vine. When the last one falls, I must go too. I've known that for 3 days. Didn't the doctor tell you? Oh, I never heard of such nonsense, complained Sue with magnificent scorn. What have old ivy leaves to do with your getting well? And you used to love that wine so. You naughty girl. Don't be a goosey. Why, the doctor told me this morning that your chances for getting well real soon were. Let's see exactly what he said. He said the chances were 10 to 1. Why, that's almost as good a chance as we have in New York when we ride on the streetcars or walk past the new building. Try to take some broth. Now, broth. And let Sooty go back to her drawing so she can sell the editor man with it and buy port wine for her sick child and pork chops for her greedy self. You needn't get any more wine, said Jonesy, keeping her eyes fixed out the window. There goes another. No, I don't wait any broth. No, I don't want any broth. That leaves just 4. I want to see the last one fall before it gets dark. Then I will go too. Jonesy dear, said Sue, bending over her, will you promise me to keep your eyes closed and not to look out of the window until I'm done working? I must hand those drawings in by tomorrow. I need the light or I would draw the shade down. Couldn't you draw in the other room? Asked Jonesy coldly. I would rather be here by you, said Sue. Besides, I don't want you to keep looking at those silly ivy leaves. Tell me as soon as you have finished, said Jonesy, closing her eyes and lying white and still as a fallen statue, because I want to see the last one fall. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of thinking. I want to turn loose my hold on everything and go sailing down, down, just like one of those poor, tired leaves. Try to sleep, said Sue. I must call Beckerman up to be my model for the old hermit miner. I'll not be gone a minute. Don't don't try to move till I come back. Right, guys, that's it for today. See you tomorrow on the second part. Thank you. Bye.